Salty Tales.
That's a great place to start.
Snappy adults. Well, I just saw this like face here, and I was like.
We're at Early Bird Comix, the smallest comic book shop in New York City. It's in my apartment.
I found it in the horny section.
This is
like,
I love this.
This is so
hot
good.
crackers.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Sienkiewicz for a second?
Oh, yeah. This one gets insane.
Captain Cranks.
This one is.
what is this called? Hot crackers?
This one gets
Hot crackers.
pretty wild.
I'm in it.
You're like, let's start with Sienkiewicz, and you're it's just
Look at his sword dick. This is pretty gnarly too. Like
it
she's
doesn't stop
wrestling
getting gnarly.
Monster dicks.
Oh, there we go.
This looks like something out of a Hyena Hell comic right here.
Spoiler alert.
Cocktober.
Yeah, dude, I haven't read this yet. You showed me all that.
Don't worry.
All right. Well, we needed an icebreaker, Mikey.
That's true.
So now we did it. We broke the ice.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we
been,
basically like besides the dollar books that you guys picked out, we really do pride ourselves on the curation. Comics is a
Honestly,
medium.
in the back bins, there were the coolest. It was like the coolest variety of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you so
look at
much.
this. Look at this range. Like, we got Batman, we got Doucet, we got Wolverton,
I really appreciate it.
Power Comics. Like, it's really all over the place.
Yeah. I was really like, that is an education in comics back there. I really enjoyed looking through that.
Yes.
And I'm kind of a dollar bin guy just because I don't really have a budget. Like
100%.
as a teacher and as a working artist, it's like I
got that hot crackers money.
But I'll say that looking through those back bins, I was like, whoa, this is the best curation. Like, it's awesome. Yeah.
It's just nonstop, painstakingly comb through, and make sure that like when things are kind of out of it, then I start put them in the dollars.
Yeah, I pulled this because of this image right here.
Oh, the eyeball.
Oh, that's so
Well,
good.
I didn't even think about that, but I was just like, this is some
that
weird
is-
Kirby-esque
I don't
like
think-
monster
I don't even
thing. And I think this is John Buscema. So I love the Buscema.
Yeah, when it
brothers.
comes to
Or it's Sal.
when it
So I
comes
love
to
the
when it comes
Buscemas.
to Incredible Hulk, Trippy Herb is my boy.
This is like Buscema. I know, I love Trimpy. Obviously, Trimpy had a long run on Hulk. This is Buscema, but I think who's inking him here? I think it's Jansen?
No, it's...
No.
Oh, see, if it
he's
was
inking
Ken
himself.
Lingraf, it would be a
Oh,
little.
he's inking himself, yeah.
Yeah, he's inking himself here. So Bill Mantlow's writing, and I mean, it's just a fun old
Too
comics.
smooth to be Jansen.
I basically, whenever I look through a dollar bin, I just look at the tops of all the books, and I go for the yellow ones.
Of
immediately.
course.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did for like 4 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a great. Go back to that. This is a phenomenal.
That's so good.
Barack.
This is this guy right here is definitely some Kirby.
Is he
influence.
punching him in the balls? Like, his legs are splayed.
Just working it like a speed bag.
There's this
He's
phenomenal.
hitting it right in the hot crackers. This is great.
Right in the hot crackers.
There's a Marvel fanfare where Hulk fights a bear. It's a backup story. It's my favorite
cool.
thing in the world.
That rolls.
Every time anybody fights a bear,
This is Klaus Janson. You
Yeah,
can
so
tell,
that
you can
was
see it
the
immediately.
Yep.
So
So I love
nice.
seeing the early Jansen because we're just following his career through all the books and all the variety of books he does. Yeah, I love it. I love looking at Jansen's inks. Like I think he inked some Howard the Duck.
Does he really? And
Yeah.
I just picked this up, which I've never read, which is this Grant Morrison, Klaus
That's really
Janson,
great.
Batman. So another cool thing, full runs, right? You've curated
Oh yeah,
some full runs.
And I
and
definitely
full,
have
full story arcs.
complete is really where the dollar is for me. Like when it comes to maintaining the shop and keeping the shop moving forward, I do have people by appointment only come by and dig through the collection. Those are single issues that normally are not in the online shop, but when it comes to the online shop, there's a lot of complete sets, and I think that that's what people want. They just want to be able to go, okay, cool, this is it. Now, and sometimes I put incomplete sets because people might have other issues, and I just give them a huge stack of whatever. Oh, Death Rattle, which we're going to be.
Death Rattle. We'll talk about that. In a little bit. I think one of the coolest things is like we're in New York, and we have to figure out a way to make it happen for the things that we love. Because what is at a premium, right? Space,
Yep.
Real
rent,
estate, square
real
footage.
estate.
Yep.
You can't open a comic shop now. I just don't think it's a viable business model because what does it cost you? $9,000 a month to have a commercial space?
Exactly.
Like, so this
Yeah.
is the coolest shit ever
Yeah.
because talk about inside baseball. We're like inside this comic shop that is like a living, breathing organism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the curation is sick. And I wouldn't even know about this if it wasn't for Instagram and kind of like the comics the comics community.
Yeah.
100%.
And we ran into a Mocha too and had a chat. That was cool.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing about that too. I think that was one thing that I was always communicating with the people, especially when I like get down to the nitty gritty and talk comics. It's like for me, I'm the dude that wants to be able to step into the arena no matter what it is, because I love Mocha. Being an artist, I especially love Mocha, but I also like those basement like Comic-Cons that are in the middle of Philadelphia, like middle of Pittsburgh or something, like
totally.
Just something where it's like, just when you're going in there, you might not be that dude, but I'm comfortable with that dude. I can talk to them. And you know what, if you want to slab comics, or if you want to do, which is very controversial in the comic, it doesn't matter to me what you want to do, as long as you're interacting with this medium.
Yeah, I like being in like a VA hall.
Oh,
and it's just like a bunch of folding tables and like dollar plastic
100%.
tablecloths, and everybody's just there.
And
like,
that's why Koch, people can't roll. I've taken so many, but also having only 2,700 followers, I've always pushed Koch because I love it so much.
We love
and
Koch.
People really. Oh man, my hands were so dirty. Oh man, I didn't know what the prices were. I'm like, it's a warehouse,
That's
bro.
the part of it. That's all part of the experience.
Also, the best part about Koch is like I bought a big ass stack of stuff at the front, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be $500 or something, and they were like, it's 50 bucks even. And I was like, okay.
And yeah, I mean, it's just like a cast of characters who are gonna ring you up, and
So it's such a labyrinth. That's what
cats and smells and
Oh yeah,
dust
what's
and
that?
comics.
What's that
It's
cat's
the best.
name? The cat rules. That big fat orange cat.
Oh yeah, that guy is he's a
Kool-Aid
star
Man.
of the show.
Yeah, so which book is this?
This is
the okay?
Iron
Yeah,
Man.
so the Iron Man I picked this out for this reason right here. Burger Time, the
Burger
video
Time,
game
yeah.
ad. I saw Corinne Halbert post about Archie 236, and she showed the Burger King ad in the back, and I was so jealous that I immediately looked up Archie 236. It's a $4 comic on eBay, and I was about to buy it. So when I saw this, I go, hell yeah,
hot dog.
because Burger Time is one of my favorite video games of all time. I will take this ad, I will scan it, and I will make a T-shirt, not for profit, for me to wear on my chesticles.
Yeah, you might want to make two. I want one of those.
Yeah. For everyone here,
No, that'd
I'll
be
make
great. That would be
3,
phenomenal. Yeah.
and it'll like
He's throwing pepper in the dude's
canonize
like,
this
get out
event.
I'm gonna sell mine.
So,
Funny man.
so I'm gonna make 3 Burger Time shirts, not for profit, and then while I'm at it, I might as well make a Q-Bert shirt and a Kool-Aid Man shirt.
Yeah.
I just watched The Studio with Seth Rogen.
What is that?
It's like an Apple TV
Apple,
show about how he but he falls into a job as a head of a movie studio.
100%.
It's actually pretty fun. It's a fun show.
Yeah.
I like Rogen, and so anyway,
I heard it was a good one.
well, this made me think of him immediately because he's the only reason he's allowed to have the job is if he makes a Kool-Aid movie.
Okay.
And he doesn't want to because he wants to make art movies.
I would watch a Kool-Aid movie.
So Scorsese pitches him, spoilers, Scorsese pitches him a Jim Jones movie, and he goes, okay, we can make it if we can call it Kool-Aid. And he goes, that's great, I would have never thought of that title. He's going to try
funny.
to pass Scorsese's movie off as the Kool-Aid movie,
Yeah.
and then he ends up lying and double-crossing Scorsese. But
That's
anyway,
really
a really funny, made me
Spoiler
think of
alert.
that. So yeah, I definitely said spoiler alerts, but
We can
sure.
bleep it out.
Alf, I picked this up because it's Alf, 1, and 2, because we read this in Comics Club.
I have never read an Elf comic, nor have I
We
seen an
read
episode of
the
show.
winter 1989 Alf holiday special. We'll do like, thanks to Joey V and his enduring thematic prowess, we will do like Christmas issues in
Oh
Club.
yeah. There's a famous one where he's fucking a seal on the cover.
Yes,
That
I've
one's
seen the cover.
one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
And then anything that says 25 cents on it in a dollar bin is probably going to get my attention. I'm probably going to buy it.
That's the Jansen
Oh yeah, this is the Jansen one. So that, we talked about that.
Absolutely insane.
Here I have swamps things.
Swamps Thing. Swamps Thing. That's the porn version.
Here I
Swamps
have,
Thing.
swamps thing. Here I
sorry
have
about
my
my math,
swampy
everybody. It's gonna
thing.
blow your
But this
speakers
is Veach and Alcala, so I really love Alcala.
Oh no, this is actually. I'm glad you pulled this one because as artists, do you have an idea?
What is
I've
going
always wanted to
on
ask
here?
the cartoonist how he did this.
how he did this.
Looks like
Yes,
it's maybe
because
printed and
it keeps
cut?
going. And this right here, as somebody who is an artist, but I'm an
Yeah.
artist in different medium, not a comics, and I have a comic shop. Every time I look at this issue, I adore this so much. and I
That's
have
weird. Yeah.
I think
like
this
it.
looks like a Xerox copy of a crayon
And he
drawing.
just pasted it on.
And then-
or a
I think
colored
it's
pencil,
collaged
and he
in.
cut it out and pasted it on, and then he used the same cutout for the separation.
This is
That's drawn.
this is we're concentrating. This is crazy good.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
so good.
rules.
This is drawn, and then this he used the same thing to cut out the color set.
Yeah, I love Swamp Thing so much. We have so much in the shop. It's crazy.
Cool.
But like this almost looks like airbrush, and that's colored pencil.
Maybe, or it's just maybe blew it up
on
the
there.
Xerox.
But this is definitely
See,
Xerox.
this is the reason, and I'll show you
love
this
it,
because
though. It's so sick.
I hope you guys
Yeah.
don't get any hate mail for this, but this is the reason why Swamp Thing of this time frame, except for this, is not my cup of tea. It's because of this character. It's because of these kind of things. They just don't age well to me. He ages well, but it's just these things. Certain
I guess
things
I
in
don't
these
really
Swamp
know
Things
about that guy at
don't
all.
really mess with me. So I just look at it for the pretty pictures.
I haven't read much Swamp Thing.
I mostly just look at the choices that the artists are making.
I mean, as
in
an
the
artist,
comics.
you believe it. I mean, this is crazy.
It's wild.
Like,
It's
it's
a wild
wild that he
choice,
did
yeah.
It looks like Riso.
Kind of does, yeah.
it does.
It does,
Yeah.
because it's like taking that pencil line,
He's ahead of his time, bro.
flattening it,
Exactly.
and then high contrast.
Kind of love it though.
Yeah, it's cool.
That art, I love. Yeah,
Oh,
some
this dude
pictures of it.
this dude's face right here is crazy.
that's sick. Yeah,
Is
that's
that
sick.
Swamp Thing?
Yeah, that's Swamp Thing.
That's
Driving a
Swampy's
car, bro.
things.
Yeah,
That's how we do things.
that's the Swamp Wit.
That's right.
Well, so I picked that up for the Alcala art. I wanted to check it out, and it looks like when we opened it up, it had quite something in there. Yeah, no, I just came at it for the Veach
It's
and
absolutely
Alcala
yeah.
team up.
This is one of my
This
favorite
is cool.
issues of that time
I mean,
frame.
this is fucking sick.
Yeah.
This again, I picked up because of John Buscema.
The
I
Submariner.
just like John Buscema. He's one of my favorite Marvel
You're a
artists.
Bushima boy.
I just feel like his thing is, to
Let me
me,
show you.
it's like my era of synonymous with house style for Marvel.
That feather touch on that.
He
brush.
does have just like a great idea of. I mean, look at that. All right, so
Oh, yeah.
and then I picked up Kamandi.
Kamandi.
Kamandi, obviously because of Jack Kirby.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
You're just gonna get so much cool
Look at that.
It's so
Kirby
good.
shit
Yeah.
out of it. Like,
Oh, I actually have a Kirby game.
like you're always gonna get good Kirby shit.
That's
Like,
is he? Wait,
let's
what's
keep
happening
going.
here? He's
Bunch of dudes busted in, and
They
he
trip
threw
over the-
he threw the desk
he
at them,
threw the
or
desk
like
at them.
shouldered it
Yeah,
into
that's
them.
awesome. And they're coming in through the back. That's a great splash.
So he just does stuff that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we were talking before, like, I'm not even reading this necessarily. I'm looking at the choices.
You can
So
read it
you
without
can,
reading it. Like it
but
reads in action.
I'm looking at the choices and how he stages his panel, how he composes things, like what
This is
his
one of my favorite
monsters.
panels right here.
Yeah.
Love that. Love
Actually,
that.
sometimes on Instagram I'll isolate just one panel, and that's definitely one that I've isolated
Yeah,
because
it's
it's just so
really solid.
beautiful.
I just every Kirby.
You don't see
comic
that
is-
with Kirby though. You don't see. Sorry.
Like a
Like
heavy-
the solid
heavy
black.
shadow.
You don't see that kind of like dramatic
Mm-hmm.
shadow kind of thing. It's normally all kind of something where it's in this realm.
Yeah.
And he really went for something there.
Yeah, it stands out. It's a dramatic moment. It's like,
So,
fits the
I mean,
tone.
come on,
That shit rules.
so good.
Is he? Who's inking this?
Good question.
No, Barry.
Bruce Berry.
Bruce Barry.
Barry,
So-
the lettering too came through.
Yeah.
That skull is
that
sick.
means he's doing this like
Yeah, that stuff is awesome.
psychedelic
Typography.
poster letters
Yeah.
too.
That's great.
Granch.
I think Barack is my new favorite.
Yeah, Next
so
up,
before we move
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
what I did was in a shop as well. What I'll do is I'll put together like starter kits. So I have a starter
Oh,
kit
cool.
on Kirby.
Oh, cool.
And it'll be like there's more issues in
Ooh,
there, but
that's so
there-
pretty.
it'll
Look
be
at
like the
that.
Internals, Mr.
Ooh,
thing,
I
some
love
of the
that.
Pacific work that's lesser known.
Oh,
My favorite
cool.
Kirby series,
Yeah.
Demon, and then of course Captain Victory, which is also slept on, I think. But I do that a lot in the shop where I'll do like a starter kit for All Red, a starter kit for Kirby,
That's so
Kiever,
cool.
all of my favorite artists I have starter
Oh,
kits
hell yeah.
for.
I saw this Dung Boys.
Dung Boys.
Dung Boys. And although it's not the name I would choose for a comic, I understand how it was probably transgressive at the time. It caught your attention,
The
right?
Dung Boys.
And you said this is by Rob.
Was this in the 90s?
Who was the guy who
Rob
was the guy who
Conway?
worked on this?
Rob Conway.
He did
Yeah,
all
this
of
is
it?
96. I mean, this
He's
was
the
like,
artist.
You know,
He's
Well, he had to get it published from Kitchen Sink, so he came into the office. He was like, "Okay, guys,
got it.
Yeah, Young Boys."
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Oh my
Print
god!"
it, wrap it up, do it. This was peak like 90s gross. Everything was like gross. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
boogers and
But that's
slime
not
and-
even like that's just straight up. Oh, did it?
I talked to Dennis Kitchen and I was like, Dennis, what do you like in a comic? And he goes, just something with an original point of view. And I thought that was a really interesting way.
Yeah,
to-
this is so
one's
Tank
Deadpool.
Girl. It's absolutely crazy.
But yeah, it
it's
has
very-
a lot
very
of
Hewlett.
Hewlett
It's not
love
Hewlett
in it.
at all, though.
But
There's
the art
no association.
is great though.
It's cool,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of black on that page.
Really
But he is
nice.
one of those artists that like is before him and after him kind of guy.
Who, Hewlett? Or this
Yeah,
guy?
Hewlett.
Yeah.
This guy. The Dong Boy. Is it Dong Boys or Dong Brothers?
Dung.
This
Dong?
is
Wait, is it Dong
completely
Boys?
solid
It's Dung
right here.
Boys.
Dung,
This
like
whole
Dung
sequence
Beetle.
is
Corn version.
where it's at.
Yeah, that would be the porn one.
I love how he chose to do the television too, because there's so much happening already.
Yeah, those environments.
And he
are
just
really cool.
goes on.
This is extremely Hewlett though, like writing these word jokes on.
Oh, there's a
things.
little strap on there.
Definitely like a Tank Girl fan. Which who isn't?
Why don't we talk about some of the stuff in yours?
Oh, you got one more though.
We will, yeah. We'll come
Okay.
back to it. I have two more, but we're gonna come back to these.
So I grabbed these. What did I get? So I started in the dollar bin. I have read these before and I've seen them. I've almost picked this up a couple times, but these were in the dollar bin. And I was like, I gotta grab them. But I was mentioning earlier that like if you pick up the reprints of these in the trade, they're like unreadable to me. Like they're bright white paper. The coloring's all digital. Like you don't get any of this. Like it's not synergistic or like it doesn't fit together the way these, you can see the color separations underneath these blacks and stuff. There's just something so joyful about looking through an old comic with artwork that you adore. Like, I'm just a huge Sienkiewicz fan in general.
Yeah, Sienkiewicz is one of those dudes. He's my top 5. But this run on New Mutants is to a point where I think that even if you gave it to somebody in the modern art world or this, that, or the other, and they just let them look at it, they probably wouldn't believe that this was like something that you could find at 7-Eleven.
Totally.
And that's the thing. It's not like a Raw magazine thing where the New York crowd at that time in the 80s was able to pick those amazing masterpieces up. We were able to pick this up throughout all of America, and we were able to do it anywhere. And that's shocking because the majority of comics at that time they did not look like this. Sienkiewicz was doing something that I'm so happy that it actually caught on to a point where he was continuously working. But the thing is, it's almost if you look at it in hindsight, it's shocking that it was popular.
Yeah.
Because it's so fucking good.
And it's, like you said, it does have that kind of fine art touch to it. Like this is an extremely abstract spread. I mean, compare this to that Kirby spread we just looked at.
Exactly.
Like they couldn't possibly be more different. I remember as a kid seeing stuff like this and like Jay Lee, like all the even Jansen too, like the scratchy small lines, like lots of energy on the page has always kind of been my vibe. Yeah, also like the other X-Men books at the time did not look like this.
I don't know that you have like a DC Vertigo house style if Sienkiewicz doesn't come first.
So cool. And having these two black panels leading it, so it's like a sound, you don't know what it is, and then you get a slight image of what it's just like really great storytelling.
Yeah, I remember talking to my daughter about like if we can find a better page. Sienkiewicz is not really the dude to give you an example of it. Oh, perfect. So I was telling my daughter, like who's 10, when it comes down to comics, when you read them, remember the story's being told between. Right there, within that frame. That's what is being told. It's not being told here, it's being told within that line, because what you're doing is you're piecing together that story, and she kind of like blew her mind.
Yeah. Do your daughters make comics?
She used to make mini comics, and now she reads. She does love the medium, but not as much.
Did you make comics as a kid?
I did not. No.
Yeah,
I just read my.
So good.
That's classic.
It's amazing. So like this in the reprint is a glossy paper.
The gutter.
This is solid. The gutter. Yeah. This is solid black. This is like an orangey yellow. Like it doesn't have these overlaps, separations. I just think like the reprints of this material ruin it to me. So finding these in the dollar bin was like a real.
And when you get these these are razor blades.
I think so. Yeah. Have you ever watched him draw? He has like 90 different things. It's like Sharpie, pen, razor blade, scissors. I don't know. Like he's like a mixed media artist when he draws portraits.
That makes sense because you can see the mixed media in the work.
Yeah,
and
I feel it. It's it's energy.
And I kind of like that it doesn't have the McKean like texture, the Dave McKean texture.
Yes.
It has the same like energy, but it's flattened out by the comics process, which I actually kind of like.
Yeah, I don't think you would be upset with McKean being on better paper like you would Sienkiewicz. Like that's a great newsprint's a great way to look at Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, it just flattens it out. Like it just works.
It's great because it is cartooning, but it's almost like old school children's book.
Yeah, there's some. It's subtext, right? It's something that he's creating through subtext.
It's really lovely.
Oh, one of my favorite.
It's great
characters,
composition too.
So good.
Yeah,
really
Sienkiewicz
nice.
is a G.
I have all those in my personal collection. All those.
So I grabbed both of these. This Wolverton thing jumped out at me.
Wolverton so much.
It's a little mini. I'm definitely gonna pick this up.
This is one of my favorite things that I've came across in the last 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is
because I love
really
Wolverton so much.
Yeah, same. I really like Wolverton a lot. I love that the 75-cent thing is a sticker. I'm into that.
But it's. I mean, look at the print quality here. Look at this. Look at that author photo. Is amazing.
Is he peeing or is he being arrested?
I think he's just tired. I don't know.
Yeah, he's leaning against an old man.
73 03 this came out.
Glenn Gray is a huge collector, and he has a book called In Blinded Eye it basically just showcases his collection.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty expensive book on eBay. I've
This
never
is
had
put
it in
out
my
by
collection,
Bray.
but he actually releases this because he was such a huge fan of when it gets down to the nitty gritty of like each image on a page is where it's really shines.
This is the kind of stuff that I like to show the kids.
Yeah.
Because it's almost to a point of being timeless.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely.
Right.
It doesn't look dated or feel dated
It's
at all.
goofy
that shit's
cartooning taken to the max.
Yes.
bolted together too.
I love this.
So cool. This is something I really want to push is like the goofiness of my not goofiness, but like I want the characters that I do in my next book to be like wildly different from each other. So looking at stuff like this is really inspiring for like how far you can go. Like we were reading
100%.
Bakune Young recently. Have you ever read that?
I haven't.
And just the way like I'm having a hard time trying to ape it. Like trying to even copy those drawings is hard. Like he pushes the exaggeration so far. It's really inspiring to know that like you can always go further.
Right.
Yeah, I think he was one of those.
I love that thing,
dudes.
man.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous you found it first.
As about 100 of you know, I love Dave Lapham.
Fuck that, man. Stray Bullets has a huge following.
I know, I understand. Stray Bullets is one of my favorite comics of all time. This was a free comic book day thing that has a Matrix comics on the back, so I picked that
he
up.
did it.
Never seen this.
That's so cool.
Lapham fan. Found this in the Power Comics section. I don't know what this is, but
Life
I'm excited to look
It's
through
one of
that.
those ones.
Exactly.
Doucet, Dirty Plot.
There's Evan right there.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna grab this Hot Crackers and this Batman.
The Hot Crackers,
that was what I
man.
pulled.
He pulled
I
that
don't
out
think you
for
actually
us.
went. You
Let's
actually
take a look
did
at
it.
You're a fan
Yeah.
of this. Why don't you flip through it?
Yeah, it's one of those things where being a huge fan of Batman, he just has so many stories that are just
Look at those
kind of next level.
Jansen inks.
But what happens with Jansen in this one is that he actually kind of brings it to the dark side. He was pushing the envelope a little bit when it comes down to the content, which is something you normally don't see in Batman comics of that time. But what happens is like the story is good, the writing is good, the everything that Jansen does in here is kind of just surprisingly well done. And I
Great
think
angle on that.
it's just he doesn't actually fuck around, and that's a good thing when it comes down to this kind of material, because we're dealing with a psychotic character, and for him to go kiss the guy with the medal, I mean, this is like, it's just, come on, man, this dude is just like, is really just bringing something to the table with this comic. I wish it was all this though, like no words. That would be absolutely
cool, yeah.
amazing.
That's not, that's great.
You have some
Good shot.
real images coming up here, though, and I'm not trying to spoil. I'm so happy that this one doesn't have it, and just in case it does, I'm going to close it so you don't see it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I'm excited to read
This is
that.
one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite Batman stories,
Cool.
definitely.
Nice.
I got two other ones in the stack. One was this Jim Mahfood. You know, I've always seen Mahfood on Instagram doing his thing.
I don't know if I've ever actually
And
read any of his comics.
I don't think I've ever gotten one of the floppies before, so I really wanted to get this to see what was up.
I do like that he draws with a toothbrush.
I think the color is sick, and I like how just like cartoony action it is. Like there's
really
a
kinetic.
yeah, there is like a ton of energy on the page, and so I just want to give this a shot. I want to try it out. It's really like between the colors, the treatments of the backgrounds. It has like Saturday morning cartoon, you know, meets Sam
He
Keith
definitely has some Paul Pope in there.
and Paul Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's a good pull, and I really do think it's like that. Like
But him and Paul Pope are homies too.
Yeah, that
Jim's
makes
a
sense.
great dude, man. If you
makes
run
sense.
into him in a con, he's always so nice.
yeah,
He's
Actually, you know what I have read is he used to do these like diary strips. I was reading his diary for a while, and he was talking about like being in LA and just.
You're reading his diary?
Stuff. Yeah, I read his diary.
Oh,
I
sick.
broke the lock.
Did you want to showcase some of these images?
Yeah.
To switch it up a little bit.
It would be cool, yeah. And another thing I pulled out of the dollar bin was this All-Star Comics Super Squad, which is Wallace Wood.
Has to use
Wallace,
it. You were interested.
rest in
it.
peace.
Wallace Wood,
Too beautiful for this world.
the hardest working man in
But
comics.
look at this though. This is where it gets really geeky. And is this one of them? Is this the one? No, this is just straight up Wally. There's issues that I'm looking for are the Keith Giffen inked
Sure.
Wally Wood, but this is not one of them.
You know,
This is still. It's still.
in one of my earliest cons was TCAF, where I met Mike, and I had the opportunity to table next to Paul Kirshner. Well, when I was I did a comics class with Carl Potts, and he was the teacher.
my God,
and
nice.
Carl slips us this page of panels, which a lot of people know
Yeah.
in the comics world, but it's Wally Wood's 22 panels that always work.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a hand-typed, like Xerox-copied paragraph on the back that said Larry Hama and Paul Kirshner snuck those panels out of the studio and compiled them. When I tabled next to Paul, I go, Paul, is this true? Like, I heard that we don't have Wally Wood's 22 panels that always work if it wasn't for you. And he goes,
Oh, wow.
nah, that wasn't me. That was Larry. It was definitely just Larry. And I was like, I got you. I was like, sure. I was like, well, thank
You said sure.
I go, thank Larry for me then.
That's actually before we do that.
Great light in here.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, what we could do
Also, when
So that's why
you
I
were
put
talking
this.
about, this is actually, the name of this comic is All New Underground
Oh,
Comics.
sure, yeah.
So this number 5 is the one that's known very, like, this is extremely well known.
Right.
This is 250 Zombies.
Oh, interesting.
And this is one of, I think Veach, one of his first comics.
Who put this out? Last Gasp?
That's the
Yeah.
side note. I wanted to pull out because you just
makes
mentioned
sense.
the Wally Wood. I wanted to pull out because you guys both being wonderful cartoonists. This is the one that I was talking about with Keith Giffen doing
cool.
the inks. Just see, cause so you flip. So see Wally Wood, yeah. So just flip through that and let me know. I would like to pick your brain on that one because we just looked at the other one, which is a straight up Wally.
Yeah, yep.
Do you see any difference?
Well, I mean, yeah, I see a lot of double lighting going on.
Yeah.
Almost every figure is double lit so far.
Well, I guess that makes sense. There's light coming from his hands.
It makes
and from
sense.
somewhere
Yeah,
else,
it makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, that's
He's just lighting everything.
something we're doing.
Well, I used to pay attention really closely to light sources
Shaboom.
and stuff until I realized like you need black on the page to direct the eye, and you have to kind of forget about light sources sometimes and just push things. You have to use it for depth anyway, and I don't know if you pay too much attention to light sourcing, I think it can kind of hinder the way you draw the page.
I would say Keith Giffen is drawing a lot of these pages. It looks like he might have been doing fill-ins for Wally.
It says it co-credits them. It doesn't say which ones he came.
Oh, okay. What am I looking for exactly?
I think the other one actually says like just what is your feeling?
Yeah.
on it.
Well,
So
that's
just
what
like
that was
you're-
my first. When I'm looking at these
You're
figures,
a Wally Wood fan.
when
so-
I'm looking at these faces specifically,
Yeah.
I'm thinking Giffen is doing a lot of these pages himself.
I think Wally's inks are a little thicker. I think his like brush line is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little thicker.
And that one actually
Yeah,
says
it just
the-
says
the credits-
illustrators.
Yeah. I think on this.
So
one,
yeah, I think that's spot
if I'm
on
not
then.
mistaken.
I think he does some of the earlier
I think on
compositions.
this one.
He's probably doing.
Oh yeah, it says artist extraordinaire on this other one. So maybe maybe they were actually like just switching it back and forth.
I think Wally's doing breakdowns and Giffen's doing pencils, and then
Yeah.
they're
when Pipe told me that because he's a huge Giffen fan, and I am as well. I don't have a long box, but I mean, at the end of the day, I love him so much. And when I saw this, I was like, "Have you seen this?" Like I was just because it just happened recently, like a year ago, and I was like, I had no idea that their paths like crossed at all.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, get those death rattles.
So yeah, there's a couple other anthology pieces that we found here. One was this Imagine caught my eye with this P. Craig Russell stuff
There's
from the 70s.
more collage on the cover here. This
Yeah,
is
and
cool.
so then you brought me these Star Reaches.
Oh yeah, those are from the same time frame.
Yeah, and you can see it. These collage
And
joints
How-
are awesome.
Len Wein and Howie Chaykin.
Yeah, Howie Shaken.
Oh yeah, they really do.
Uncle Howie.
We're reading Flag right now in Comics Club.
Nice.
Shout outs to Joey.
Which issues are you?
What issues are we on?
I think we're on 12. I think this is round 3.
Nice.
That we read them in like 5 or 6 issue chunks.
Yeah,
I
Howard Shaken, I've met him a couple times, and man, oh man, he really. And my friend Seth was. My friend Seth didn't realize he was charging for his signature, and I was just
I
sitting
thought you
there,
were doing
that.
and
Yeah,
he
we
was
can
just
both
giving
share.
me to a point of being a stand-up comedian. It was really funny stuff.
Wait,
I think
Chaykin
he's
was?
a controversial issue. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
controversial
I
dude.
thought he was too, but I couldn't find any actual dirt on Chaykin.
No. I think it's like people that have came across him and stuff like that. I
Oh,
think it's
okay.
just like comics community kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because I thought he was a really nice guy.
I thought he had a rep for that, but then I looked online, I couldn't find anything, and maybe it's just like the work is
Yeah,
provocative.
that one you have, Nick, is
I love this Days of Future Past. This
So
is probably
is-
where they got the title for the
Oh.
X-Men.
Maybe.
Joint.
When did that come out?
Oh that's definitely before. That's
this,
definitely.
Well, this is
Look at this
78,
page.
but
that's
this
definitely
is
before.
This page is really cool.
but this originally came out in 70. Let's see here.
Chaykin loves a circle.
Oh yeah, this is solid stuff.
Yeah, this is 70s, so 68, 70s. So
Man,
This is like
really
blatant rip off.
I love when an artist can like blend a foreground background black and it's not
Oh
distracting.
yeah, he does that.
Yeah,
That looks amazing. That makes an
it's one of
incredible
his things,
shape.
Yeah.
reminds me of like Mignola on
my
Fafford
God.
and the Grey Mouser.
Yeah, I love
Wow, that's
that.
a deep cut.
That's a sick image. You go backwards.
This is so cool.
This right here is really,
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice.
So these, I'm a sucker for a newsprint black and white anthology,
Yeah.
and this art
These
was really
shapes.
jumping off the page.
These
Yeah.
black shapes are so
Yep.
cool.
really good
She's
shape.
really using the Zippito like.
I love
different-
this. I mean, this is all of this stuff
Who
is
is this?
fantastic.
Johnny
You gotta do that anthologies
Axinger
part
and
2.
Joe Stanton. Oh, there's so many anthologies out there.
Yeah.
I love that episode. This is some good
I always
stuff
think this
there.
is funny. Like, you got boob hanging out, but you got a well placed smoke over Zeus's
Well,
dong
back
or
in the day,
Poseidon's
you
dong.
don't
or
draw.
whatever.
You don't draw the dongs.
You gotta
just
wait
draw
around
the
for
boobs.
heavy
Draw the
metal.
dong. To all
There's a
you-
lot of
to all
dongs
you
in heavy
artists
metal,
out there.
Oh, dongs. everywhere.
Hashtag draw the dong.
Whoa, cool Cyclopses.
Yeah, that is a cool Cyclops.
All right,
This is
one
fun.
more
This
anthology
is
I
fun
want to
stuff.
talk about before we wrap up today, and that's Death Rattle. This is kind of what I saw you post most recently. It got me so excited to come out and check out some of these.
Yeah, I think
like,
the first
little-
4 issues, I might be wrong on that. The first 4
little piece of
are
history here.
actual. They're actually like color, and then it goes to black and white.
So I'm not sure which one we want to talk about first, but you said you really like this
Oh
one.
yeah, this one's great because Wolverton is
Take
what
us
we
through
just
that.
talked about. We always have like a day of Wolverton, but what happens with this dude, which I wasn't actually familiar with him, Rand Holmes, but I
Let's
know
push this
homies
up
that are
just
really
a little bit. There we go. Rand Holmes.
homies are really into him. But what happens is that you have to go through a little bit, and
There's also
then
good
when it
business.
comes to this character being introduced, and then it's like this woman right here. But what happens is that eventually you see this. It's just everything about it. But then something happens where the character is, a reptile. So, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So Death Rattle.
For a very so I know there's some intercourse happening there, and I think he gets his ass blown out.
That's
Excuse
what it
me.
looks like.
But this right here is the image that I was going
Indeed.
to post recently, but I realized that I'm trying to get okayed by Marvel, and so I didn't post that image. But I'll post it like next week.
Sure. After
After the whole
this
thing
is
goes.
what I was really excited to see.
Yeah.
The Wolverton.
I think there might be a couple in Death Rattle. There's a couple Wolverton stories that are reprinted, and also I have another thing that's done by Michael T. Gilbert, the Mr. Monster creator. He did these Golden Age reprints, and there's some Basil Wolverton in those as well. But yeah, this story, flip through that one, and I'm going to pull out one more before we.
So
Cool
great.
stuff. I mean,
That's so great.
these anthologies are insane. I didn't even know these existed.
I had never heard of these before.
Shouts out to Dennis Kitchen for consistently putting out some of the best
Yeah.
comics ever.
We were just
I
talking
love
about
that.
Koch. I feel like
Beautiful.
anytime I pulled something cool out of a box over there, I was like, this looks cool. I would inevitably see Kitchen's name on it somewhere. Like,
And you know what I got from
It's got his
Kitchen
fingers all over
in
it.
Columbus?
Cool stuff.
I got original Will Eisner drawings from him.
oh, right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, and here's Eisner right here.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about how
I have
last
some Eisner in there as well, but this right here was off topic, but it's also an anthology, but it's actually just reprinted. This is a done by the guy who did Mr. Monster,
Okay.
and he actually has a Basil Wolverton story in here as well,
Oh,
which is
cool,
also
yeah.
one of my favorite Basil. This is actually a
Love his
single
style.
issue, but this the man who never smiled, and it goes on. It's always like
because he's got them teeth.
yeah, he can't smile with those teeth, bro. And then that's the thing. It's like that's it. It's just a nice little
Yeah.
boom, boom,
That's
boom.
perfect.
And he just brings it to the.
Wolverton's such a weirdo. I love him
just
so
brings it.
much.
I don't know anything about him as a guy.
I
just
don't
know the
either.
artwork.
Same.
I think it might be safe if we just keep it at that.
Yeah. I never want to plumb too deep.
Yeah, right. I don't want to know.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
look at
pretty
his
rad.
weird ass faces.
Here.
Yeah, these. Well, those are actually the old. Those are the newer ones.
Oh, these are the
yeah,
newer
they're-
ones.
What happens is this is from the there's actually a volume one. There's actually volume one. That's the
Right, 'cause this one's
old.
color as
There's
well.
old school ones, and then
Right,
the
right,
volume
right.
two
I see.
is the ones that we really want to focus on. These are
Okay.
the ones that are just absolutely phenomenal. And this cover is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
but
it's great.
this cover is also great. I think right here it says Frank Miller, and I'm assuming I don't know where he is.
It's a different Frank.
It's not. it's the same guy that's been in every issue of Death Rattle.
Just another guy named Frank.
Francis Miller.
But yeah, this is one of my favorite anthologies. Death Rattle. You pulled out Star Reach.
Not far from Star
That's
Search.
gnarly.
Yeah, it gets.
That's the bear. He's fighting the bear.
Always, man. But he's
I just
actually
think it's
literally
interesting.
fighting this bear.
Maybe
Maybe that's what it is.
gutted.
There's a couple themes in this episode. There's the Basil Wolverton, and there's also fighing bears.
Yeah,
we're
and
gonna.
Klaus Janson.
We gotta reach out to Tenacious D for that one.
Yeah.
We're fighting a bear.
See this guy.
And you don't even care. That guy's cool looking. Is he like a preacher or something?
Yeah, it's probably some kind of degenerate. And then this one's more like they all. I think they're supposed to look like children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they kind of weirdly don't though.
Yeah, they don't.
They look like
children.
adults.
His haircuts are wild.
With small bodies. It's hard to draw kids.
Oh yeah, that's what they tell me.
That's a skill unto itself.
We'll
It's
just keep
big
doing
head,
until-
small body, big eyes, small nose and mouth.
It's
That's
also
the
just
thing.
like where on the face you put the eyes.
Yeah.
So if you look at a child when they're little, like 3, all their facial features are scrunched down here.
Yeah, huge
and
head.
it expands, big head,
Yeah.
and then it moves across the face.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's the real trick of it, I think.
I got a photo.
Yeah, I've been working recently on like the face actually takes up a much smaller percentage of the skull than I thought it did.
Right.
And if you really shrink the face and make the skull bigger, it instantly looks more realistic.
That's right.
And here's your boy again. The baby faces. Yeah. Yeah, we're leaving it. Where's my revolver?
Word.
But these
is
are
really
really
cool stuff,
These
man.
are really
Yeah,
good.
what a collection! This is a special.
And it's
place.
really, really lovely that you opened your doors to us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's so
a
cool.
pleasure.
It's so cool.
I was really once you guys mentioned it, I was pretty sure because I think you and I have followed each other on Instagram
yeah.
for God.
probably for a while.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'll be in the middle of nowhere and then talking to somebody about Little Lulu comics or whatever, and they'd be like, "Hey, we should follow each other." And I'm like, "We already follow each other," kind
Yeah.
of thing.
There it is.
It's the comic.
love that
the
experience.
comic community is a small community, and
I
that's
tell people
why.
all the time, I'm like, whatever you're into, that community is small.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. But
the
powerful.
interest might be big, but the community is small. And people, like when I'm teaching classes in New York and people ask advice, like, how do I do this or that? I go, here's all you need to do. Just be kind to
Oh
everyone.
yeah,
be kind to everyone.
100%. That's the only way to do it. This is one of my favorite. That's a good cover to leave it on.
Zelazny.
Yeah, it's just that cover is just absolutely.
Zelazny, so Walt Simonson's such a huge fan of Zelazny that he was like, what did he say about Zelazny? He has a quote, and I immediately picked up his book. He was like, it's the best science fiction book ever written.
Zelazny.
Zelazny, yeah. And he has a ton of books, Roger. He was big in the like late 70s, early 80s.
Is it the doors of his face, the lamps of his mouth?
That might be the short story. I
stepped all over your beautiful sentiment, though. You're completely
Oh,
right.
yeah, no. I mean,
For real though, any kid, any person out there, regardless of where it is, like, if you come to Early Bird Comics, follow us on Instagram. There's going to be no negativity, and I know that's something that people don't. But there's just not going to be negativity.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I don't like it, I just won't post it. If I don't want it, I won't have it in the shop. It's just one of those things. It's like there's no reason for a negative vibe because regardless of what you think about Star Reach or Jim's work or anything like that, it doesn't matter. At least they're doing this. And even Dong Brothers, like Dong Boys or whatever, like these people are making these comics. It might not be your cup of tea. You have to remember that it's not your cup of tea. Then move the fuck on. Like that's all you have to do in life. If it's not your cup of tea, just move on because there's somebody who it is their cup of tea, and on top of that, the creator is putting their fucking blood, sweat, and tear, regardless of what comic it is. It could be Weapon XXX. It doesn't really
that
matter.
looked really cool, by the way. What was that I posted, that guy, and you were like, I love that guy, and he was just basically like, I will never say I don't like something because I don't think it's necessary. Like it's all about
Vince Staples.
Vince Staples.
Yeah.
He's like, it's all about storytelling and context. He's
100%.
like, it might not be
Great.
for me,
Yeah, I
it
love
might not
Vince.
resonate with me, but it was within the context, it was important for that time. And I think about things in that way too. It's like, each thing was necessary for the expansion of consciousness. So
Yeah.
it's like every little thing is a bridge to the next thing. So, like you were saying, if you don't like it, move on. And I really think that's true. Like, if it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. Who cares?
Yeah.
Go find something that does.
Totally.
And, like, then pick up weaving where they left off. You know, like keep working on that tapestry. Like we're all in this together. We're all weaving the same.
Literally start weaving.
The same tapestry.
Calming
Yeah, shout outs to
Get away.
weaving.
If you don't like comics, just move on to weaving.
My partner wants to get a loom. I'm like, where are we going to put a loom?
In New York City.
Where in my New York City apartment does a loom go? Please tell me where that happens.
Could you do it like at the door where you have to walk through the loom to
And you like you're stuck in a web like Han Solo and Carbonite when you come in.
Well, yeah.
Well, this was super fun.
Thank you guys so much for stopping
Thanks
by.
for having
It was
us.
an actual pleasure to talk comics with you.
We
out
will.
Early Bird.
We're gonna post all your stuff in the links to the video.
It's
and,
COMIX.
X.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Early Bird.
And yeah, right there. Boom.
Gets
There you go.
get some.
So if you're ever in Brooklyn, South Brooklyn specifically, you know we're neighbors.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I walked over. It took me 10 minutes.
Oh my God! Yeah,
There was a huge
all
protest.
they have to do is just contact me on DM and through DMs, and we can make an appointment. I'm open actually Monday through Sunday from 10 to 4, so that's a lot of time.
Oh, those are
to
great
be able
hours.
to
Yeah.
come through. But it definitely has to be by appointment only because you might have some 3-year-old running around.
Word.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks
so much.
Yeah. Toodles.
Later, y'all.
Bye bye.